G'day legends, welcome back to Roadside, presented by Zwift. Today we are joined by NSN Cycling Team's Brady Gilmore. Brady will step into the World Tour in 2026 after fighting his way through the under-23 ranks. He hails from Kalgoorlie, one of the most isolated cities on earth. We thought Perth was the most.
Beautiful town.
Kalgoorlie was even more so. And we're going to dive into how Brady found his way into the World Tour. Brady, welcome, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Cheers for having me on board.
Yeah, very happy to have you here, Tom and I.
Mate. It's we followed your exploits for quite a while. This bloke doesn't shut up throughout the week when you emerge. I think I've never seen you follow Tour of Rwanda so closely, mate.
I was tuned in.
Yeah,
Honestly, old Macca from the great man at SBS, I would often collar him at Nationals when he rolls over and I say, mate, I'm telling you, the boy from Kalgoorlie, this Brady Gilmore, keep your eyes on him. And he sort of nods them into the first year I said it to him. He was like, yeah, okay. And then the second year, he was like, oh, yeah, okay. And he kept on, getting into it. So we're big fans, and we're going to let you tell your story and how you came to the sport. But first, mate, we're just cusping over the off season. You've been playing a bit of golf. Can you tell us about your golf exports as a cyclist?
Yeah, I mean, I like to play golf, like to try and relax the mind, and it's completely different from racing, like racing, so much adrenaline, and, it's pretty crazy at sometimes. So stepping onto the golf course is kind of connecting with nature a bit and trying to enjoy it, but the issue I had was I was getting a bit too serious with it.
With the golf?
It was actually driving me crazy a little bit, so I've just learned now to kind of not really care, just go there and have fun, take one good drive, one good iron, one good chip, one good putt, and then just be happy with it.
Beautiful. That is such a professional approach to a hobby sport. That is just one of the takeaways. Well, how can I enjoy this without it corrupting
Otherwise,
me?
I'll tell you, it'll drive you crazy. It's like a 1% chance you're going to hit the ball good because of how small the ball and you're actually what you're hitting, I tell you that Simon Clark's pretty good, though. He's played plenty of golf. He won't put it on his story, but he knows how to hit a golf ball.
He looks coordinated.
Yeah.
He looks like a bloke who could, bat bowl. Some guys on the bike, they're just like, you're one-dimensional. Hey, if you went around the track, you'd be, 50 plus. He does look like
I played with him last week.
Yep.
We kind of played in, you play off the best ball, I was in a team of three with him, Carl Storm, the general manager of the team.
Oh, good.
And we played against Guillaume Bavine and George Bennett, and we beat them. Obviously.
Yeah, good. I would have thought.
I was going to say, you're not giving the GM any strokes, are you?
That's true. Okay, so just a little bit of housekeeping. Roadside, as we go into summer, we'll turn weekly every Tuesday. Our episodes will come out, so make sure you are following, and our daily pods for Nationals and Tour Down Under, which, of course, we'll chat about. So it's going to be busy, Tom. We're going to earn our keep, aren't we?
Yeah, we certainly do, mate.
Hopefully, speaking a lot about this man here. Yep. Make sure you follow and subscribe, but let's get into it. It is time. Brady Gilmore's with us. It's going to be a big episode, and I hope you enjoy. So FE Sports brings you this episode. Sort your Secret Santa out with a gift from one of the many FE brands. They've got them all, Tommy. But Brady's here with us, and we want to start with your entry into cycling, Brady. Let's start off with a bit of background. You have the tagline, the boy from Kalgoorlie. Don't know where it came from.
Didn't you invent it?
Don't make it up.
I reckon he did, yeah.
It doesn't matter, but we want to know, for those who don't know where or what Kalgoorlie is, can you describe it to someone who might never heard it before?
I'm pretty sure it's the world's richest gold mining town. It's about 6 hours inland.
Yeah.
If you were driving from Perth to Adelaide, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I grew up there, did all primary school there. Raced BMX there.
Country kid.
Yeah, my parents have a sports store there, so that's why they're still there.
True.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Well, how did you find your way to the bike then, mate? Because obviously cycling's not exactly mainstream in the country. Basketball, that reigns supreme, footy, cricket, netball. How did you find your way to the bike then? Tell us a little bit about that.
I was living in America a lot, racing motocross.
Yep. Okay.
And then it was kind of when COVID started, I guess. I actually had to come home from America. This is towards the end of 2020, if I can remember. And then I kind of got a road bike at home because I had to do 2 weeks of quarantine. I didn't even have COVID, but it was the government kind of said, you got to come home now. Otherwise, you won't be able to come back because of the visa stuff, I could only stay for 6 months for 5 years or whatever, And then I started doing a lot of Zwift and whatnot, just to keep my fitness.
Very good.
And my goal was to just, use the bike to maintain fitness. So when I go back, I was going to be fitter.
Full motocross.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, I started doing Zwift races and, with the power meter on it, and I was starting to, like, kind of get addicted to it in a way. I was like, this is cool. And I was getting better, like I did my FTP tests, and it was pretty good right away. Like, I think
Do you remember what your first was?
I think it was around 300 or something. And this was like never...
This is just jumped on the setup.
Yeah, like I did like the 20-minute test or whatever. So I did it and it calculated it as 300 was my FTP. And this was on like a trainer. Like I had nothing in the legs, Yeah. So I was like, maybe it's pretty good. And then from there, I joined the local cycling club, Eastern Goldfields Cycle Club.
Great cycling club.
Yeah. And I remember I showed up one day and they were all at Monty's, the cafe, about to go out for an ITT, so like individual time trial. I had no idea what it meant. And I showed up and I said, all right, like, boys, FTP 4.5 watts per kilo, like, this is what I was saying to them. And they just laughed at me. They had no, I had no idea what I was like,
Just
like,
an out and back on a one-way highway.
Yeah. I was like, I've been doing Zwift and, like, can do 4.5 watts per kilo. Like, I only just figured what this was, and I was all with the numbers.
You were probably ahead of me with watts per kilo, mate.
And they just, like, a couple of them laughed at me, I'm like, can I join the race? Because I saw it on Facebook. It was something out to the Gidgee Roaster and back. I didn't know what it was.
How fast the Gidgee Roaster?
I think it was 15k out, 15k back.
30k.
But
ITT is your first.
For a club TT.
But I didn't know that this was an ITT. I thought it was a group ride. Like, I was just joining in. We're going to chop off. Like, I was excited. And I've showed up and I'm like, yeah, I'm keen to join in for the Gidgee Roaster. Like, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was a race. And they were like, oh, you got to register. And then, like, the people running the club at the time, they're like, oh, we'll give you you can race, come race.
Nice.
So we did a warm-up, and then I remember just sprinting off the gun and...
full noise.
I went full noise, but I didn't know how to pace it, so I'd go full noise and then be, like, a bit cooked and then go full again, like sprinting, Like, I think I averaged 37k an hour on a road bike.
30k.
But this guy named Brady Gilmore, he beat me that day. He actually passed me, and I sprinted back past him. In a TT. Like, I was fully cooked. And then this guy put 2 minutes into me, He was on a Giant with aero clip-ons.
Yep. Wonderful.
And then after that, I was like, I'm getting these. Like, I need a set of these or whatever. And then we did a road race, like, I think the week later, and he smashed me again. Yeah. But then it was just, I think the third race I beat him. And then it was on from there, and it was like, he was super strong. And we used to be in A grade and we'd like do handicaps and we'd have to work together to catch everyone.
Yeah, that's a great way of doing it. It shows how important the handicaps are for country clubs. We obviously see it all the time with all the other sort of races that we've done over the years. But it just is a great leveler. It's like a golf handicap. You can go play golf with anybody. You can go race against anybody with a handicap.
And the Eastern Goldfields Cycling Club, they put on and have for the last 107, 108 years maybe, the Kalgoorlie Cycle Classic, which is a 2-day handicap race from Kalgoorlie to Menzies and then Menzies to Leonora. Yeah. And it's over 100 years old. It's kind of fell off the last 2 years, but it went 100 years straight. And good background there. And you had a couple of goes when you were really pumping too, I remember, at Kalgoorlie. But moving on, just aside from that part of your cycling journey and that rivalry with Big Jelly sounds...
he's done Margs a couple of times. He's C-grade weapon. Like, he's good in C-grade.
Well, actually, I've got a quick story. I'm going to jump in here. That C-grade Margs, because you've touched on a Tour of Margaret River race close to our heart, that was your first major sort of outing, wasn't it? Or one of?
I think so. I did it in 2020. Yep. I raced C-grade.
Oh, really?
No, I did C-grade in 2020 with Brad Jellyman on a team for Daniel Bowler, finance broker.
Yes, he's a mortgage broker out there. So
I actually did Tour of Margs.
He scoops you up and he's going, I'm going to put this
I'd only just got on a bike. Like, my bike was... I was riding... I bought a Merida, and it was a 54. It was way too big for me. The thing was riding me. Yep. And I did C-grade Margaret River. And one of the days I was planning to ride across the B-grade, but I never got there.
Oh, that's
so C-grade for 2 months.
Harry Aves. He was
good man.
He was in the bunch with me, and like, I remember racing with Harry in C grade.
It actually brings. I want to talk about a bridge that you did.
Yes.
Soon, but Daniel Bowshatter, he did Mega Nice Home Loan. He's a great guy. We love Dan.
Kalgoorlie boy.
That's right, Kalgoorlie boy, and he loves you. Now, as you started taking cycling more seriously and getting more into the racing, you started racing at a club level, first with Dome Coffees, of course, as an individual as well, then with CDF, and then, of course, at ARA. But during that period when you're just racing the club scene here in Western Australia, you know, what did you learn? You must have learned a lot pretty quickly as you started racing.
Well, I didn't know how to race. Like, if I look back at the stuff I do, like, it was stupid. But I didn't know any better, you know. I was fresh to it, and, like, the stuff I would do, like, I would never do it again, you know. But obviously, like, I had to learn, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, coming from motocross, it's a completely different sport to cycling. Was it, did you pick up the culture of cycling quickly, or was it kind of, I don't know, it seemed a bit weird?
I mean, it was definitely different. Like, I liked it. Like, it was cool. It was social, you know, and, like, you could go have coffee after the ride and stuff like that. It was definitely more social than motocross, which was strange. But
What's motocross like then?
Just
each to their own. You're in your own sort of like your own.
It's an individual sport, you know. You're kind of racing as an individual, but I mean, you go to the track and it's social, but you just race and there's no like extra meeting up and you know, it's kind of just.
You only see each other at the race,
yeah,
don't you?
Unless
serious,
you go
specifically for a ride, where cycling, obviously, link up any day of the week, time permitting.
What are the energy demands of motocross?
It's
because everyone that does it's usually quite.
It's a mix between strength and endurance, but like when you do a motor, it could be 20 minutes to 30 minutes. A motor, like a race, it could be 20 or 30 minutes. You're spending threshold heart rate.
Yeah, okay.
And you're moving this big heavy bike
it's
around.
like you're in threshold, but it's a whole body workout. Like you got to have a really strong core, and also you got to squeeze the bike with the legs to control it, and then also you got to hold on with your arms. Like it's proper hard.
So cycling did make when you're on the Zwift hacking it out in quarantine, thinking, oh, this is building me up to obviously get me back over there. That's
it was giving me something to do for one.
Yeah, right.
Like locked in the house. Yeah. Like I was loving it, and then obviously with the goal of getting fitter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
It's when people will see you racing and will watch you in the future, they'll probably notice that you have a more muscular build compared to your average cyclist. And every year you're definitely like turning more into that cycling body. But there's no doubt about it. When you see you in a jersey, you've got that, the muscular frame, and that's obviously from the motocross background and, I guess all the demands that took with that. Now, I remember two stories. Once we were doing Collie Donnybrook, and you and I are actually in the same group. We might have been in the 6-minute group or something.
Jets in the same group.
Something like that. And I remember you were wearing your Eastern Goldfields jersey.
Yeah.
And we were in the same group, we'll charging, we'll put minutes into scratch. And I remember I knew everyone in the group and I didn't know who you were. And you were pulling these peeling turns. I was like, God, who is this guy? He's pulling way too hard.
Probably had you on the wrong side of the wind and everything.
No, there was one point we were going down this big hill.
It was crosswind,
and you super tucked. And I was like, who's this like new guy super tucking in the group? And I think I came up to you, I told you, mate, don't super tuck. And I think back to that guy.
It's because you're at risk of going out the arse.
I was definitely at risk because I think I got dagged. But I remember stories like that. It's so funny how you can race those moments, and that might have been another day where you were learning more doing that big handicap at Collie Donnybrook. 2020.
Yeah, local racing's pretty good fun, and obviously, like, you had a pretty steep learning curve in your career. We're going to dive into the later stuff later on, but locally, what was the first moment that you realised you had it at a local state level? Is there any moment that sort of specifically stands out? Because you stepped in... Yeah, what was your first win?
I think it was Smeaton Way.
Yep.
For Dome.
Didn't you post up the lap before?
No, that was the week before.
So the week before you posted up a lap early?
No, I didn't post up. I sprinted
you destroyed everyone in the sprint.
Like I thought it was the last lap, and then I realised it was the bell.
Brilliant.
So I kept going, and then JP Vandermeer.
Yeah, JP.
He counted it, and he ended up winning. And I think I was like, I don't know, I think I got swamped. I was 5th or 6th. But from then I was like he was good, It was like, if I could have the capacity of this guy, be that fit, in the VO2, I would be good. Like that's kind of what I had to be on the same level. He was riding for a Conti team, and that's what I wanted. I was like, I need to do that.
He would have been from Bridge Lane, probably.
Yeah, Bridge Lane. Yep.
Yeah, and he was a weapon. He won a couple of stages. So the next race after that, you got
I
maybe at the
Bayswater.
Clune Street. Yeah, that's the Bayswater one. The
That's
industrial
not Smeaton
circuit.
Way?
Smeaton Way was the Rockingham one. That was the
That was the
poster.
one, yeah. That was when I went a lap early thinking it was the last lap.
And I think the week later you got the lead out from maybe Wodge.
Yeah, it was Wodge.
Yeah.
It was I can't remember who it all was, but they lined it out. They took me from the back to the front and just this massive lead out. And then I just came straight, like Wodge told me exactly what to do. Like he's a smart rider, you know, he knows what to do. He's like, you just got to follow me, we're going to lead you out and you just kick from here. And I did it. And then, I won that race. And, you know, it's a crit, so it wasn't, but it was like A-grade Perth, like being from Kalgoorlie, like looking like it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a big step up.
Yeah.
It was a big step up.
If I could win an A-grade crit in Perth, that was like, I was good, you know. I thought I was good then, and then I could continue, you know.
Well, from there, you continue to develop, you know. You're right into the local scene. Your first big day out on the top step of the podium, could you categorise that as your Oceanias victory?
Yeah. So I was obviously on Verus CDF, and it turned to CDF, working with Brad Hall. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like I'd done good at road nats. I think I was maybe like a top 10 or something. And then it was Oceanias 2022. And I was 4th in the TT. And I just missed the podium by like a few seconds.
Yep.
So I really wanted a podium. But, yeah, went out with the road race and I won the under 23 race. And that was that was enough to get me up into the Conti. Yeah. And this is kind of the beginning of 2022. And then from there, ARA reached out. We kind of went from there. And I think I went to Europe like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, you stepped right into it. And I've got it on authority that this race in particular, this Oceanias race, you and Brad went through this finish with a fine comb. You looked at the finish. It's a very technical finish. And I've heard that this has actually set you up to how you approach races, that you think you have a chance.
Well, one is your positioning, and two, you got to know what's ahead, you know.
So what was this finish like in Oceanias?
So this finish was like, it's probably one of the most technical finishes I've ever seen.
Brisbane?
Yeah, in Brisbane, you come out of the tunnel, and then you go like over like a highway bridge that kind of swoops around like a U, and then it's like a bit of a descent, and then I remember it turned right onto, from, you know, like a main road to literally like a road with like a hazard, like you couldn't even drive on it, was that small. So basically it was like I had to be, Brad told me, first into there and then individual pursuit from that corner to the finish line, because you come out of this right-hander and it's just bang, like 10% wall. It was probably a couple hundred, like it was perfect, like 1 minute effort, you know? And then you kind of turn right, it was flat, and then it went down and then the finish. So it was kind of, I probably needed to, I entered it second on James Foucher's wheel.
Yep.
Where I probably needed to enter it first, rail the corner, gap him and just go, and then I could have held on. I mean, I still won the under-23 race, but he was on the wheel and I led him out he was in the elite race. But I knew this guy wasn't in, I was racing for a different, you know.
You're in a different category.
But if I was to do it again, I would just enter it first and literally just rail the corner enough for them, they would drop the wheel. And then it's kind of game over from there.
Low red road.
So once you took out that Oceania road race title, and obviously the good result with the 4th, you know, earlier in the weekend, then you got contacted by ARA Skip Capital, which is another domestic.
It was ARA Pro Racing Sunshine Coast at the time.
There you go.
So kind of was speaking to like Matt Wilson, I think a bit.
Yep.
And then he called. I think he called. He was speaking with my dad.
Yeah.
He called my dad and he's like, "We got a bike for him. Does he want to come? Like, he can come to Europe."
Yeah, right.
And then I got COVID, I think, like right after Oshie's.
Classic.
So I had to stay home, like, and I couldn't ride for like, I think it was like a week, and I was just in my place, just dooming, you know, because so they delayed Europe, you know, and I was seeing the stories and the Stravas of the guys that went over to Belgium. I was just like so much FOMO, I was like, you know, and then I went over with them, like
just straight into European racing,
straight there, bang.
in Belgium.
So you go from this crit scene locally. We'll just paint the picture here. Crit scene locally. You win this Oshie's target, and you're straight into Europe, mate. That is obviously a massive step.
It was a big step.
You know, from the dirt roads to Europe, so to speak. What was that like? How did it work out? Obviously with ARA, and was it just a baptism of fire?
Well,
paint the picture of the first Belgium race you stepped into.
Rondo van Overijssel.
Okay. What did it look
Sounds like it lives rent free.
It's in the Netherlands, I think.
Yeah.
Declan Trezise actually won it last year.
Did he?
True.
Yeah, it's his race.
Handy bike rider.
Yeah, good bike rider.
Yeah.
All right, so we go over to Europe. I knew no one in the team.
Yep.
So we walk into the
And
team
all the boys
house.
have already started their
Yeah,
season
they've
together
already
as well.
They hadn't raced yet, but they'd been there, you know, like for a week or two. Like they'd settled in, you know. And I arrived, didn't know anyone, like, so I had to meet them all. You know, it was a bit daunting, like, you know, all these guys. I knew none of them.
Yeah.
I think I knew Craig Wiggins. That was about it.
Yeah.
You know, shook all their hands, like met them all. And I think it was 3 days later, like I had my first race.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, I was keen, but like I was pretty cooked from the travel and
The COVID.
yeah, probably this is well, and I hadn't been riding, you know, so
shit.
I'd gone to this race and like we came through the neutral, and like it was scary, like like 150 guys in the race.
Is that the biggest peloton you've been in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably would have been. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is a 1.1, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe
A
even a
1.1?
1.2. No, 1.2. So it's even more crazy.
Yeah.
Like all the Conti guys, you know.
Everyone's
And we're
out
coming
for
through
blood.
the neutral, and I got brushed by like 3 guys. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, today I'm dying. Like,
And you've been riding
And then-
motocross and
yeah.
you've been flinging around on a dirt
And
bike
then,
doing
like,
jumps.
I
and you've
remember
been
some guy,
using
like,
skills.
hit the guy in front of me in brake checks, and then I'd stop to not hit him, and I had 5 guys run up my ass, and my number was all buckled. And I'm like, oh, this is a great. So this is in the neutral. We hadn't even started the race yet. And then, yeah, the race went on, and I found myself literally. You can ask anyone this question, their first race in Europe, they'll be at the back of the race.
Yeah.
Anyone you ask, they'll be at the back. And then, you know, kind of battled through it. And then I got to the front, and I was with Cam Scott, and we were like just, you know, rolling through, and I was there for like 5 minutes, and then I just disappeared back to the back. And then I think I was dropped with at 150k, and it was 180k race, and I didn't finish. Like, I think because, you know, like the form was a bit bad from all the time off, and just obviously, like I cooked myself by not positioning. Like this race is just start stop out of farm roads. Like you're hitting 1,000 watts out of every corner if you're in the back, where you just kind of if you're in the front.
It must have felt good when you did get to the front, though. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was good, but the peloton, it's a washing machine, and you got to continue to move. And if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. You know, that's just how it works. But I didn't really know any of this. You know, in Australia, you can kind of just hit 500 watts and ride up the side of everyone.
Yep.
You can't do that in Europe.
there's
Like,
either
it
no
does
room
not
or-
work like that.
Yeah.
A lot more guys can hit 500 watts and move up.
Yeah, and there's just
Over there.
there's no room to move. You know, even if you're on the big road, maybe you move up a bit, but you turn onto a farm road, and then it's just position locked for the next, could be 15k. And if it's a bit of a crosswind or even tailwind, you kind of, if you're not in position, you're not even in the race.
You'd be at the back.
Oh, man, I wouldn't be at the start line.
literally,
put me in
The
bin.
program I had in 2022
Yep.
was
So that's your first year? No, second year.
No, 2022 is the first year. Like straight after Ocean's gone to Europe. Like this program was like, it's the hardest it can be for someone first going to Europe. Like it was straight up like a punch in the face, kick to the head. Like these sort of races I was doing, you know, because they were just flat, like Dutch, Belgium, like
windy.
crazy 1.2, 1.1. You race with World Tour guys, windy, control. Like I didn't know how the races would fold out and how, you know.
How it flows.
How's your mindset with that? Because it can obviously be pretty exhausting. You're over in Europe, and like, believe it or not, like to a lot of the listeners, it's hard work. You know, you're trying to train, you're trying to race well, but trying to manage that stress when you're racing, that can just be absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
the pits, can it not? Particularly when you're going, I'm over here to try and win a race to get results.
of course, it's the easiest thing in Europe is just riding your bike. You know, the hardest is trying to live. You know, it's hard. Everything's different.
Yep.
But for me, because this first year was so hard,
Yeah.
it shaped things a bit differently. Like the second year wasn't so bad because like I literally was thrown into the deep end, like as deep as you can go. I was thrown straight in there, and you know, like I got through it. You know.
Yep.
And Brad told me, if you go back to Europe a second time, you've already won. It's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Well,
You know?
So 2022, you did, at least looking on the on your stats, you've got that race, the Ronde van Overijl, I think how you say it. Then you've
Didn't finish it.
Yeah, you've got a stack of DNFs, obviously learning curves, but a couple where you finished inside the 50s, which is pretty decent, I have to say, in your first go. Then you go do the Great Tour of Tassie. That must have been a fairly like nice sea change going there. It's your next season in Europe, 2023, and it's a still race with ARA. What were they then? They would have been.
I skip capital now.
That's when they went to Skip Capital.
And we
so.
stayed in the Netherlands in Watersley 2023.
Okay, so 2023, you would have come into Europe a much more rounded cyclist, more experienced. And looking at your calendar here, you raced a shit ton. And this is where you had a great start to the year. 2023 started at Nationals. You had second in the road race, second to McKellar.
Yeah, McKellar.
Yeah, he had a
smashed
beasting
us.
ride that day, and then you're fourth in the under 23 TT. Then you won the TT in O'Shar's, which we've spoken about. What was that 2023 season like? You did the Giro next gen. You rode the Tour de l'Avenir. Can you speak to some of that?
Yeah, so the 2023 season was like obviously a good start in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
The form was good, and then I kind of went over, and I think one of the first races we were doing was Tour de Bretagne. Mm-hmm. So that's
stage.
Yep.
And I think it was stage 3. Plumelec was when I was third. I actually thought I won because there was two guys up the road, but I couldn't see them, and there's no radios with this stuff, you know. And this was basically, it was just laps on like 1K 10%. And then from there on this day, kind of getting that result, like third in this race, like Tour de Bretagne, like it is probably one of the biggest, like in that part of the season, probably the biggest Conti race you can do. Like all the Devo squads there, all the hitters are there. It's like this year, like
Lamperti in that
like
race
yeah,
on
like
stage.
Lamperti was there.
Colby Simmons, there's a few. Yeah.
Now that day that you wrangled the podium, I've heard that Big Kane Richards, the boys, they've just been piling on the front all day, and they've ridden out of their skins. This is what I've heard just through the waiver, and they've just been absolutely driving. Richards, the big man, the big Queenslander, he's just, I think Queenslander. Sorry if I got that wrong.
Coast.
Kane, Gold Coast, yeah.
Same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that corner of the world. And he's buried himself. El Tractor style. He's flicked maybe 10, 15 Ks out from the finish. Just
so
rinsed off. He's gone to the back of the group, and he's seen you at the back.
And
then he's gone, Brady,
Away.
mate, what are you doing? And you've gone, mate, I just needed 5 minutes. And then you've just moved up the front. And then just been like, oh, I better move up now, hey, mate. Just done 500 out the outside on the dirt.
Yeah, so that day we kind of rode, it was like 180k stage, it was quite long. And we rode, it was to the circuit, and I can't remember how many laps it was, but we still had all of us into the circuit, because it was a little bit lumpy before, but then it was like, you know, Tour de Bretagne, you ride, and then the race starts when you hit the circuit. It's like, boom. And, all the boys kind of, we were like, all right, we just need to, like, at the start of the day, the plan was for me to try and win the bike race, like, you know, in our team meeting and whatnot. So all the boys kind of, like, they were all for it, you know, and we had all of us kind of, when we got to the circuit, like, riding and stuff. And I remember, I was at the start, like, I was kind of towards the back, and I remember Kane was like, Brady, like, and I jumped on his shoe, and he moved up, but, you know, he's so big, like, I was just like, I was free rolling. He was doing 900 watts, like, smoothing around him, and I was free rolling in it, and he brought me to the front. And then we kind of set it up. We started riding with, we had Will Eves at the time. He was a strong boy. And then we had Declan take over. He did some mega, I think one lap or something. Like the lap was quite long.
Oh.
And then kind of Hamish McKenzie, he was like my last man. Like kind of, the group was quite reduced in the end. Like there wasn't many guys left. And Hamish was there with me. And then he really helped me. We kind of moved up. We went off the road a little, like not off the road, but kind of in the gravel a bit to move up. Like we got in position. And then I'm like, all right, like let's go. And he started to lead out on the climb. He's on 500-600 watts. I'm just in the wheel, waiting. And then he hit this kind of right bend. And then I just unleashed the sprint, and then could win the bunch kick.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember the two guys being up the road. So I actually thought like I just won. You know, like it was wicked.
And like. Silly?
No, I just did like the
oh, nice. That's okay.
That's good,
That's okay.
Good, because if you podium...
If you sourced it.
Oh, well, you're not going to do the big...
It was a hard effort. It was like
the big post
but it's
up.
good you just did that, because you can just go, oh, pretty happy with the bunch kick.
Yeah, like,
you know?
Yeah,
I'm happy with the bunch kick.
But it was one of those efforts where it was, I think it was 800 watts for 45 seconds or something out of that corner.
After the big lead.
But after it was like 500 for like a minute or two. Like it was proper hard stage. Like if I was to design a race like that for myself, that's how, like, it would be like an uphill sprint like this.
Real
like
grippy.
Steep, like 1 to 2 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
Or even 3 minutes.
We're going to talk about the profile of your riding type too. And now, 2023, that whole season, obviously things starting to click, nice early results.
Yeah.
Is there another, because like we said, Tour de l'Avenir, you had Giro Next Gen, World Championships as well, and then going into Belgium Japan Cup. Was there any other results throughout that year or moments you can remember?
Well, I remember after that podium in Bretagne, like that was where, with my agent at the time, I had contact with a scout from IPT, and they'd contacted me, just saying, like, you know, asking me questions and what, I can't remember the conversation. And then
build a bit of a profile.
Because they had a development team.
Yeah, like, they added the training peaks and whatnot. And then I think a few weeks later, my agent at the time, he called me and he said, "Oh, you've been invited to the training camp." And I was like, "Let's go." This was the training camp in Livigno in July.
Okay.
So I was like really excited for that. Yeah. And then I went to that, like met the whole team.
Did they send you a email with like, what's going to happen? We're going on these rides.
No, it was like surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
You just rock up. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. I was nervous. I was nervous, but like I was super excited. I was like, this is my ticket, like to go pro. Like
so you've rocked up to this training camp in peak fitness. You're ready. You're humming.
The thing is, like about 2023, I was humming in the beginning of the season, and then I hit like in the Giro Next Gen, I kind of was like not burnt out, but like there was something wrong. My heart rate wasn't coming up. Like I was going training before it, I remember, and I was doing efforts and I couldn't get my heart rate up, and I just felt like it was obviously it had been too many. Like I'd never raced this much, and all the training in the beginning of the year to do the results at nationals and Oshis, I'd cooked myself, and then I've gone to the Giro, was cooked, and then I remember I did Tour of l'Avenir, and I think I ended up with a chest infection. Like, and I still raced. I didn't want to race. I was like, I can't. But
you're 11
You did 6 stages.
Yeah, I was
pretty volatile.
I had
like
this
in that under 23, and you're desperate to opportunities.
It was my chance. In my head, it was like, if I don't do these races, I'm not making it. Like this was like the next year after that wasn't under 23 anymore. So it was like, make it or break it. I have to do this. I have to get a result. Like this was the last chance. So I kind of pushed on with it. And
was the camp after Tour 11 year?
What was the date?
28th of August. 20th of August.
No, the camp was before.
So it was before.
I was flying at this camp. Like
Yeah, tell us about the camp.
Yeah, so we got there and it was just kind of like a bit of endurance riding.
With the other invitees?
Yeah, there was Riley Sheehan.
Oh, good man.
Riley Sheehan.
Quality rider.
Yeah. There's another. My roommate there he's a Spanish rider. Yep. Sergi, I think he rides for Caja Rural now.
Yep.
It's good.
Good stuff.
That's good.
I think, and also this guy Luke Valenti was there. He rode for the Continental Team this year. I don't think he's not riding for them anymore.
Okay.
But anyway, camp was really good. I remember like doing lactate testing, and like I had really good lactate results. And then we kind of I had a meeting with the head of performance and general manager.
Same GM as the current.
Yep.
What were they saying to you?
So basically, like we sat down and they would tell like that because they'd analyse all my data, and they were telling me like what sort of rider I was. Like maybe I was similar to like a Corbin Strong in a way, like that sort of rider.
Did you agree?
Well, yeah, I was like at the time I told him I thought I was like the same as Wout van Aert and whatnot. Like I was probably I said I'm somewhere between like Remco and Wout. I think I said like that's like punchy, like good sprint, but also like good climbing capability.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, like we have like a development team, like maybe like we could put you in it like for the next year. But at that time I was just like I wanted to be in the pro team. I felt like I didn't care about the Devils. I just wanted to turn pro. So I kind of was like, oh, what are the chances of like maybe stepping up to pro or becoming stagiaire? And they basically told me no.
How did they react to you?
I can't remember exactly, but it was like
it's a hard conversation.
I think they didn't roughly just say no. It was more like, oh, we have a development team, and we could definitely maybe look at trying to schedule like to do some racing with the development team next year. So there you go. And then the next day, we went out and did power testing, and we went to Bormio 2000 climb. So this is like, I think you start at 1500 altitude, and it was. They said, all right, go do 10 minutes at 95%. And it was me, Riley Sheehan, and Luke. And, like, I let them both go first because I was like, I'm blowing the doors. I'm coming past them.
Yeah.
And this is in altitude. And I did the first one, so 10 minutes, I went full. 10 minutes, I did, like, 470 or something in altitude. And they were like, oh, that's, like, good. Like, caught Riley. That was, like, the goal, Like, I got to be better than him. I'm versing him for this spot,
For sure.
And then we went and rode for like 2 hours or something up to 3,000 metres. Like it was to burn a certain amount of kilojoules.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't tell us what we were doing next. And we get back and they're like, all right, 10 minutes, 100%.
Oh, and wow. Okay, so blind schedule.
Yeah, so they wanted, it was basically...
After you'd done like 5,000 kilojoules or something.
It was like 4 hours in. Like we'd done 10 minutes at 95. Well, we all know we all went full gas. And then we went and rode for another 2 hours to burn a certain amount of kilojoules, up to 3,000 metres and back, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a test of like the resilience of fatigue.
Yeah.
And then I went and did this 10 minute. It was 475. Like I smashed it. Like went 5 watts up.
Yeah.
Caught Riley again.
No way.
And they're like, the coach with me at the time, he's like, you're a lactate machine. Like, he's calling me a machine. And then that night I got a message saying here's a stagiaire contract. Yeah, okay. And Riley Sheehan didn't even get one. Yep. At this point. At this point, they literally, they sent me a contract on my phone, whatever, for being a stagiaire. They're like, you're a super talented rider and we can't wait to work with you. Oh. So, that night I was sitting in the spa in the video, like just on the recliner after the sauna, and I got this message and I'm like, yes, I was so excited. I was pumped because I remember I called Brad the night after the meeting. Like, I was a bit disappointed. I was like, in my head, maybe I thought I was coming to this training camp and it was like a ticket to being pro. And then having that conversation kind of shifted, it was there like, deflated I was kind of, they were saying it was like a privilege to be there, and it definitely was, but I just had a different mindset,
You thought that it was going to open the door to just getting a pro contract?
Yes, but that's not what it was at all. It was more like a privilege to ride with the pros and to experience a training camp, because not many guys get to do this.
And I think 99% of people, even who they've got invited to a stagiaire or to a training camp just to see how they go, I reckon 99 would go, I'd take that dev contract.
Yeah.
But you were like, no, I'm here for the pro.
I really wanted the pro contract. Like, in my head, I knew I could.
Why not? Did they specifically say, the GM and the performance director, were they saying, look, we think maybe you just need to develop a little bit further?
It was something along the lines of the experience and the developing. Like, they knew I had a good engine. Yep. They could see the numbers. They knew I was a strong bike rider. But they hadn't really seen me race enough, Mm-hmm. Like, I had one good result at a really good race, but it wasn't like what I did this year. Like, I kind of had a breakout year this year, like.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, he's got strong legs, but does he know how to race? That was the unanswered question that they had. They didn't know. And, I mean, looking back, like, I 100% agree with them.
Yep.
If I was going to sign this kid, like,
Brady then wouldn't have agreed, though.
No.
Brady.
No, I wanted that pro contract.
Well, what was when you got that, when you're on your phone, you're sitting there in the spa, chilling out after that, pulling that 475 out at the end, that's a leg.
And it was at altitude as well. It was almost at 2,000 metres.
Yes.
It was pretty big.
Like. Did you call anyone?
I
called
Brad back. I called Brad back. I'm like, I just went and did this test, and I just absolutely rinsed it. Like, I just, like, it sucked, but I just, like, I did this thing, And this was before I got the
2 a.m. And you finished your ride. It was 2 a.m.
I was walking up and down. I was on the phone to Brad, and I was pacing up and down the street. Like, I was pumped. I'm like, I've done this, and I'm like, I reckon it's going to be good. Like, they were pretty impressed.
They would have been jumping out of their skin. Now we want to move on to the 2 seasons you had with IPT Dev Team. We'll do that quick break. Got to remind everyone, especially if you're new to the pod, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're following on your pod players, wherever you watch, Spotify, Apple, the main ones, subscribe. Otherwise, Brady's going to sign for Movistar instead. So just time to that off. No. But make sure you subscribe because it does help us and what we do and continue doing so. So we'll come back with Brady right after this. Right, so Brady, we're here 2024 and this year, 2025, you rode with the IPT development team. You got the contract. You smashed the testing. Now tell us about how these seasons took part. The races, I would imagine, would have been a bit more of a step over than so in 24-25. Can you talk us through?
Yeah, so 2024, it was actually probably one of my hardest years, like probably mentally. Okay. For a number of reasons. Yep. I got to, for one, I went and lived up in Andorra by myself. Yep. Purely just for altitude gains I wanted. Right. It's just me in my mind wanting to get that extra percent, because I respond good to altitude. So when I lived up in Soldeo, which is like in a ski village, 1,800 metres, like looking back at it, it was pretty dumb.
To live in Soldeo, not Lavea, which is
just probably even living in Andorra in general. I didn't know anyone, I went up there all by myself.
You isolated yourself.
I isolated myself, And like the form was wicked. Like I was doing, like I had good numbers. The training was really good before I went there. And then I did, what's that race? Circuit Ardennes. Was my first. So I won that race this year, the GC. Yes. I did it last year. And I probably didn't race at the smartest, but I think I did some good stages in there. Like I just kept getting better. Like I was, I think just outside the top 10, and then if not in the top 10 by the end.
40th, a 12th, 11th, a 7th.
Yeah, and on the last day I was 7th because I remember I attacked over the climb, and I went on the descent again, and then actually Joe Blackmore won that stage. He beat Paul Magnier in a sprint.
And the Lucas Cabis, that guy from the Rockets, that big unit.
Yeah. So I didn't really we didn't have Velo Viewer in ARA.
Okay.
So I couldn't really like look at this stuff and where the adventures I have now, like with my new team. Couldn't really look at kind of.
Because this is you, this is Oceania, Winner Brady, just trying to analyse.
This is Brad. Brad had all this data and stuff. He's on Google Maps and everything, and he had VeloViewer, but I didn't have one with ARA, so I couldn't really look at stuff and whatnot. Like I definitely messed a lot of the races up because I didn't know the finals.
Yep.
Wow.
That was a big change that I had this year. Like I'd seen it before I'd done it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So and everyone else you're racing has this data.
Yep.
So they know when you're coming into this finale, these roads you've never ridden in before ever, and you're racing them, and there's sign. They look different even if you've ridden them because there's signage, there's bunting, there's barriers. Yeah. They all know the finish. It turns left, it bends here, goes up. You did.
Yeah, I knew that there was this 1.6k climb at 7%, and I attacked over that, and the goal was to go solo from there to the finish. Hank Vogel's told me to do that. He said, if you got a gap, just go, and I backed it, but I got caught with a few K to go.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't really know the run-in of it was quite technical, and there was like a roundabout where if you actually re-watch it, like Joe Blackmore like lays off them and then sprints through the roundabout, and you know he did it because he won because he was smart, you know.
And he cleaned up that particularly.
And that stage he was second in GC, and he had to win that stage, and for the guy that was winning, he had to get like 4th or worse.
Yeah, right.
For Joe, and Joe won, and that happened, and he won the GC. He took the jersey on the last day.
What?
Very classy bike rider, Joe. He's gone on, obviously, now he's a key player. Obviously on the World Tour stage.
Yeah,
hey? So you look at that yourself and you go, okay, that's another thing, you know, I'm just going to put down, lesson, do your due diligence. And obviously that's what you do. And that's what you've probably taken into this year. And I imagine that's
everything I've done
year.
and everything I've messed up is just something I've learned. Like every time I didn't do good, it was a massive learning, you know. And it still is the same way. Everything if I don't win or if I don't do good, like I learn something from it, and that's kind of like how you got to be, I think, you know. Because if you don't learn anything, then you're like, well, what am I doing here? Learn it, come back to the process of getting better, you know. That's kind of how I've kept over these last few years, you know.
Certainly feels the case, like at least from our side looking in, you know, like it's pretty easy to summarise someone from pro cycling starts or you look at their career trajectory. But yourself, you did, 4.5 years or 5 at a Conti level?
Yeah, well, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. So that's, I'd say like 4 years.
Not many people keep going back to the well or have the tenacity to be able to push
that's
on and
what
do
I mean.
that.
Like I could have easily stopped after 2023. Yep. Like...
How close were you to stopping?
I
didn't enter your brain?
No, it was definitely like I was thinking like if I didn't have another ride, like I went into a pro stagiaire and then was going to have to go back to ARA. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, like that's a big back step, and I was like, you know, I've kind of failed here. But I don't know, I'm like, nah, like I'm not going to stop. Like this is not over. Yep. It's not over yet.
Was your relationship, because you've worked with the one coach for Brad close to 5 years?
Yeah.
My understanding.
No,
just sort of expired maybe a couple months ago, and now you're working with obviously the World Tour team's coaches.
Yeah.
How important was that relationship to getting you across?
Super important, like with the psychology, and I think it's really important who you have in your team as you're going through. Mm-hmm. You know, positive people that, you know, in a team, it's all about getting better and everyone working together for one result, or, you know, like a whole team works for one win, you know, and that's kind of how it has to be. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, you know, me and Brad, like working together, and it was like nothing went to plan. Well, we go back and we analyse and we say, all right, we do this, and, you know, we come back and we work on stuff that we can control, and that is the process of training and getting better. Yeah. Like that's why I do it, because I enjoy the process, you know. Like, you can't get to this level
and not love what you do.
If you do shit in a race and you wanted to get this result, if you don't come back and work on the process, well, you're going to think, why am I doing it, you know? Like, I didn't win this race. Oh, I didn't win this race. What am I doing? Well, I'm doing it because, like, it's the process of getting better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that leads us to the 2025, which is this year, of course. And this was the defining season, and it was one that we were following very closely.
Oh, yes.
The season.
Mate, you couldn't miss it. It was in the news,
You could not miss it. You started off, of course, the WA, Western Australian Nationals here, the best Nationals that's ever seen. It was only the first year. Fourth of the crit, just a bit of a warm-up, bit of fun around Northbridge.
Just open up the legs.
You were opening up the legs. Then fourth of the roadie, which was
bloody good crit.
an elimination race. That was. We talked to you afterwards. You know, fourth is a great result, of course, behind, who was it? Plappy, Durbo, and Lane. No, not Lane.
No,
Walsh.
Liam Walsh.
Walsh. And you were gutted.
He went early on Mounts Bay, I remember, and I didn't immediately react. I was kind of like, I'd been doing quite a bit of chasing before that, and then everyone was looking at me because, you know, wearing kit and stuff. I'm like, I need to save my biscuits for this final climb, you know. But looking back at it, I should have probably just because everyone else was not going to do anything. So
everyone else probably had legless mates.
There wasn't too many people left in this race. So a fourth and a fourth starting off Nationals, and then you just went on a tear, mate. You went on to Rwanda, 2 stages there. Did you win GC in Rwanda?
No, I was 10th.
Then you were Tour of Taiwan, stage plus GC, Circuit de Ardennes, you went back, stage plus GC, and then in Portugal as well, 2 stages there, and a great show at Tour of Britain as well. But it was really that honey hole period with Rwanda, Taiwan, Ardennes.
Yep.
What was that like, mate? That period, what was it like? Because there was even a moment in one of these races where you and a teammate were like first and second on a few
it was
stages.
Taiwan. I mean, Rwanda was awesome. Like, we went there and... like, to get 2 wins was great. You know, it's good for the confidence. Like, you know, it was...
Winning's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. Like, this is why I do it, because I want to win, you know, like... And then, so Rwanda was awesome, and it was good momentum, you know, to start the season. Knew the form was there, and went to Taiwan. And then the way that kind of played out was Moritz, who was winning, he was in the breakaway on the crit, and there was 3 seconds for every bonus sprint. There was 3 on the crit, so he got 9 seconds, you know. So, and, you know, he was just in breakaway, got caught by the end, but, like, boom, that's 9 seconds. Like, you get 10 seconds for winning a stage, so it's basically the same.
That's all I read rather than that.
And then the plan for me was to win stage 2, so I took my opportunity and I executed it. Yep. So I got stage 2. Yep. And then stage 3 was, like, I was swinging that day. Like, there was a big 20-minute climb. Like, I got over it, I was all right, but... something I was off that day, and I just, like, I was getting dropped, coming back, like, just fought all the way to the end and finished. It was a reduced bunch, but it was nothing that should have been too hard for me.
Yep.
But I think maybe it was something like I didn't feel enough after the race because of the podium and the interviews. Like, I was just cooked this day. But then I came back good on stage 4, and basically this is where I moved into the yellow jersey. So we went over this climb, and Escatelis, the Spanish pro team, they burned... most of their riders on this climb to try and drop me. Like, they went full. I was doing 500 in the wheel up this climb. And me and Moritz got over the top with them. And then some guy from Burgos, like, kind of went over the top and, like, broke away on the descent. And I went with him. And we dropped everyone. Me and this guy dropped everyone on the descent. Like, put, like, a minute into him. Like this descent, like, I think Blake Quick crashed on it or something and, like, hurt himself. Like, it was kind of, you know, it's, like, shady and like a bit moisty, like it's a little bit wet.
Yeah.
But me and this guy just like, he was railing it, and I'm just staying on his wheel, and I look back and like we're just gone. And then I think it was from the top of that climb to the bonus sprint was 40k. Okay. And there was 3 seconds if I won that bonus sprint. So obviously the plan was Moritz was leading, we were backing him. Yeah. But I found myself like just follow this guy on the descent, and then we caught a guy from Caish from the breakaway on the descent, and then he just sat on the whole time. But we basically, in the radio, like the DS was like, Brady, like keep working with them, get to the bonus sprint, and then you have to win the bonus sprint. Because, you know, then it's just moving. But all it's doing was separating the time from second that I was to third place. Yeah, yeah. And we get to this like chopped off for 40k with this guy. I held the bunch off, like just me and one other guy from Burgos.
Best mate from Burgos, yeah.
Got to you know, near the sprint. He was going for the sprint because he was...
He's on GC.
No, I think he was winning the sprint jersey or something like that. Like he wanted this sprint. He wanted this sprint.
Yeah.
And I pumped him in the sprint. Like it was like I went at 200 to go, which is a good number for me.
Yeah.
And I just opened up and just did this massive sprint, and then after that,
how's your Spanish? You learn a few words there.
Little bits and pieces. But, after that, it was kind of like we let the bunch catch us, and then I was on the same time as Moritz. Like with GC, we were level, but because I had the stage win, like I had the jersey on countback.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that race played out. Like it wasn't intentional, but it was just the way it went. And like the DS was.
That's your tenacity for being opportunistic, though.
I wanted Moritz to win the jersey. Like he's my good mate. Like he's helped me so much this year, but I just followed this wheel in descent, and this opportunity opened, and then I had the DS telling me, "Love, Brady, you go until the sprint, and you win. Make sure you win the sprint. You have to win the bonus sprint." Yeah, right. And this is in my ear, and I'm chopping off, and I'm like. I was just...
His DS probably saying the same thing too. You got to win this sprint. He's probably looking at
it's an advantage to put 3 seconds into third place. We had 1, 2 and GC. It's just separating out,
Yeah.
You're thinking team, mate. So basically your whole 2025, though, you made it too much of an argument to not sign you.
Well, what about the Ardennes race? How about the Ardennes?
That's probably like... Circuit Ardennes is probably one of the hardest...
That's grippy.
Yeah, it's the hardest 2.2s...
And look at your results. First stage, second stage, third stage, third, fourth stage, got the stage win, and fifth stage, I was in and won the GC.
Yeah, and like I had...
That's a domination.
I was nervous through that race because I had Jarno Witter,
that's right.
On my ass the whole...
unit. Yeah. That was getting a lot of fanfare, and still is.
And this race is hilly. Like, we were going over, 4K 9%, and I was getting over these climbs with him. Yeah, one day... On the last day,
9%.
No, the stage 4, the one I won.
Yeah,
he dropped me, but he only put 10 seconds into me. And then I had my teammate Pow Marty with me. Pow's he was third in the Baby Giro the year before. He's world tour this year with me.
Yeah,
and he just rode him back for me. But it was only 10 seconds. It was 2 or 3 of them. I think it was the guy from Bahrain that won the Baby Giro. Really good climber. And then we'd kind of just come into the reduced sprint, and then it was a little bit uphill, and then just.
There was a lot of, I think there was a lot of good stuff online about you pumping this guy, this Widjar dude, because he was hot property in Europe. He's the next guy.
The way the race played out was there was the same with the bonus sprints with the time. So on stage 4, he got me on one of the sprints and virtually moved into the GC lead. So I had to win the stage to get the jersey.
And you got it.
Yeah. So the way they raced it was we were controlling my team because we had the jersey. Every single climb we went to, Lotto was second team, he would get his teammates on the front going full up every single climb because, in his mind, it's the best way to get rid of me is to go as hard as he can on every single climb. They were going full on every climb. Yep. And obviously they wanted to catch the breakaway so he could win the bonus sprint because these bonus sprints it was at the end of a 2K 10% climb. Mm-hmm. And I got him on the first one, but there was still 2 guys up the road, so there was no time, on 2K 10%. And then the next one, he went and he got the time, and I knew it as well, he virtually moved into the lead. I'm like, all right, I have to win this thing. This is it. This race was my biggest target for the year, Circuit Ardennes. It was if I could win this, Tim, my DS, he's a goal for you, you're capable of a podium, and that would be awesome. Yeah. But to win it was I couldn't believe it.
You smashed it. You absolutely smashed it. Now, were you getting any information back from the team IPT about potentially your contract being on the table?
I remember, after Taiwan, the boss of the team messaged me saying great work, let's talk about the world tour kind of thing. And that was kind of I knew that it was maybe going to happen, but I'm I just got to win as many races. I have to do as good as I can, win as many races as I can in these races where I'm getting my opportunities. So then after stage 4 of Circuit Ardennes, I was sitting waiting for doping control, and Tim was let's just sign it now, kind of thing. He wanted to sign me.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was I'll talk to my agent and stuff,
oh, you're cool. That's very good.
It was basically straight after that, they were boom.
And then, so
was there much offer or any other interest for yourself?
Maybe
a few questions to the agent, but nothing of serious nature.
Yeah, nothing serious really. The approach we wanted was to really respect the opportunities and the pathway that IPT gave me, and by doing that is moving through their system. I think it just looks good in general, They gave me the perfect opportunity to do this. They gave me a team around me to do this as well. So it kind of was like, yeah, we'll talk to some other teams, but really want to ride for this team.
Good attitude to have, hey? Not often do you see that, or, actually making use of the system. So,
and it looks good if you're always chopping and changing teams, and maybe it's like, oh well, did he not fit in here, or did they release him because So if you just stay with one team, maybe it looks nice. You're obviously fitting in well, and they're happy.
I like it, mate, and that obviously brings us to. You signed the deal, you're moving forward. You've just come back from camp. We were just talking about earlier before the pod. You've flown in. You caught up back to Perth time.
He's in the kit too, so the NSN, so never say never.
Yeah.
Is what we talked about on our last episode as well, a little bit about the whole new look for the team. But coming back from the camp, can you talk to us about what was the message you received? What was it like?
Like on the camp?
Yeah. What were they telling you? Because obviously it went from one team to another.
Yeah.
The license has changed.
Well,
fresh look.
Like obviously before the camp, I didn't really know a whole lot of information about everything. Like I only found out what the team was called when they released it. So it's kind of like I only found out when you guys found out.
Yeah.
Can't tell the riders, mate. The riders are the worst. They're the last people that need to be told.
Well, it's just like, if the team starts telling the riders and stuff, like, you talk to your mates, it gets out, and they... So it's, like, as much as I was just wanting to find out, it was good that, like, they didn't tell anyone kind of thing. They kept us informed that there's nothing to worry about and all this, because with all the stuff you're seeing everywhere, it's like, oh...
Yeah.
But in my mind, like, we have group chats and with the team and they're informing it, there's absolutely nothing to be worried about. Like, good stuff's coming.
You had your meetings, though, for next year. Can you talk to us about your race program?
Yeah.
And what that's going to
Yeah, so next year, obviously, starting with the Australian block. So keen for made my World Tour debut in Down Under. And then Surf Coast Classic and then Cadell's race also. And then I'll go straight back to Europe straight after that. So like the beginning of February. Going to live in Andorra, so I'm going to go move up there and get settled with everything.
Yeah, good call.
And then I'll have my first race in Europe in the beginning of March, and it's called Trofeo Laguerre, I think. It's a one-day kind
One of the Mallorcan Classic?
punchy races in Italy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then I have to get my phone just to like have a look.
You don't want to look too far ahead.
Stuff.
When TDU is on the radar, all you want to do is just, mate,
good.
Aussie summer, that's it. And
So
we're gonna put
in
the
March,
blinkers on.
so Trofeo Laguerre.
Yeah.
And all these races I say it's the plan, but maybe I don't do all of them.
Yeah.
And then maybe Strada Bianchi straight after that. It just depends like what's going on with the riders and whatnot.
Some of the senior boys, some of the senior classics riders as well.
And then obviously like Volta Catalunya is on the program.
Great
So
race.
that's like kind of March.
That's a race that really suits your profile as well.
Yeah.
There's some
watched
really,
it
really hard stages, particularly in the first 2 or 3 days, that are just super grippy down by the coast.
Like kind of like uphill finishes, like 1 minute efforts. Like, you saw like Matty Brennan like do pretty good there, and I think like we're kind of maybe similar riders. So
Stevie Williams, your teammate, he's won a stage a couple of years ago as well there. So Nick Schultz as well.
Yeah, Nick Schultz.
So yeah, your team's found success there. I want to know about your role as well though in maybe Australia.
We've had our rider meetings and stuff about it, and I will be just mainly doing support roles for my first races, because we're bringing Sprinter, and then also like for Corbin as well. Like he's a good rider,
always been up
and
there
he's
to you.
he's very experienced. So
He's
for me,
close to winning a couple of years ago.
for me, it's like I also need to learn how to be a good like in a team. It's not just all about winning, I guess. It's about like I have to learn how to do this other role as well, because it's going to happen in my career a lot where I get they're going to give me opportunities to be a leader, because that's the sort of rider that I'm built for, kind of thing.
Yeah, you can finish.
But I also have to be good at like supporting a leader.
Yep.
It's very important. I did it last year, like in Tour of Wallonie. Like I helped Corbin with that a little bit. So I've had experience in that before. So it's nothing like completely new to me. But yeah, so kind of, you know, we have clear leaders for our Australian block, and I'll just kind of be supporting. So
that's brilliant. That's exciting.
First World Tour race, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty special.
Yeah, and it's my first World Tour race, so you know, like, I want to do really good and everything, but you can't expect too much. You know, it's all new to me. It's green. I haven't done it before, so we just got it. You know, we just hopefully, like, I'm planning to have a long career, so you know, it's just the beginning. It's just all about learning and experience. You know.
Mate, it sounds like those 5 years of just like 4.5 of Conti grind.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all I'm hearing right now is that understanding, and like maybe a lot of other Neos and other Conti guys could probably take that away.
You got to have a good pathway and whatnot, but you also just got to, I don't know, you got to go through a lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, you just got to be good enough. And I think, you know, if you're good enough, you'll get there. Yeah. But you got to stay with it, you know.
Bring it on, 2026, hey?
Yeah.
Those new bikes, mate, you were eyeing them off, hey? You were asking for a discount code.
No. Come on, mate. The Scots are too good not to be in the boat. Because I remember when old Welsford rolled up to Papa's with his Scott when he was riding for DSM. And Scots, and he had it there at the cafe. And I looked at it, I was like, geez, once they moved to that real aero shape, they looked absolutely elite.
It's such a nice bike.
Is it going to be at Papa's?
Yeah.
26th of December, Boxing Day.
Cycling.
I'm on it right now. I'm allowed to post about it and ride it. Scott, I'm just not allowed to wear the kit yet, obviously.
Yeah, the kit's fresh.
But I'm taking it for 2 river loops already this start. She's been around the river.
Sick. Okay, we're almost out of time. We definitely are out of time. But who? Let's give us a couple of questions. Who? Maybe name your 2 biggest supporters. If it's 3 really close ones, name them. And then maybe a rider who you look up to who's on the pro circuit.
Yeah, so my biggest supporters is like my parents, like my dad, my girlfriend as well.
Yep.
And obviously Brad Hall, like over the last, few years. Mm-hmm. So there's probably the top 3.
Good names. Okay. And what about the rider who you look up to in the pro world, if there is one?
Yeah, I always liked Remco just because, his aggressive racing style and, like, he doesn't give up, Like, he's got that dog in him. Nice. Like, I always, he's good to watch. But it's like there's also guys I look up to in my team that, like Corbin Strong. Like, I've raced with him. I've seen him, like he's a guy I can kind of look up to as well. Because maybe I'm similar to him as well. And I think he's still got a lot more to prove. Like he's a good bike rider. Like if you saw him in Norway, that climb on Pitcock.
That's right, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, he loves a big 1 minute stage.
They're classified as a sprinter, but like he's I think he's underestimated with how he can climb, Like I've seen it. He's good.
Really interested to follow yourself as well now, like your team, you bring on Biniam Grimet, like that really senior
it's cool.
Classics rider at your team, someone who you go into any race with. And he's someone who can get it done. He's won multiple Tour de France stages, green jersey. Like, that has a trickle-down effect in teams. And I'm really keen to see what you guys and that Classics unit can achieve this year.
The energy's like real high because he's in the team and he came in the training camp. Came a bit late, but he came. And it was wicked to meet him. He's a super, super nice, chill guy.
Yeah, sick.
But, like, it's definitely, like, it's exciting. I don't think I'm more Ardennes focused.
Mm-hmm.
So being like Brabant Spil,
yep,
like Flesh Boulogne, Amstel, and Liège, hopefully.
So you might be paired up with Stevie.
Kind of like a similar program to maybe like Joe Blackmore and like Nick Schultze as well.
Yeah,
racing with these sort of guys. Because I think my biggest strength is like, I can sprint, but like I can climb.
Yeah,
you can
punch.
Like the races I won this year was kind of because of my climbing ability. I'd come to the final and, like there was only climbers left. So I didn't have to, it was maybe 1,000 for 20 seconds, That's enough to bike length.
Mate. You're just licking your lips. You're looking around, look at these little skinny wigs.
There's riders who can climb, but they get to the finish, they've got no punch.
Because, I can beat a sprinter as well in a race, like someone really explosive, but then, I can also get to the finish with the climbers.
Yeah.
So I think that was my strength this year, and it helped me.
All right, well, Brady, we'll wrap it up. It's been so good talking. I want to sit here for another 5 hours, but we're all going to be at TDU, so we might have to do round 2 when we're there, I think, and just check in and see how your experiences are going. But we're going to see you at Nationals, we're going to see you at Papa's, and I think everyone is really keen to see how you go. And I
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise,
You're
mate.
gonna kill it, mate.
Yeah,
Bring on
I'm- no, I'm-
2026.
Hey.
Bring on 2026.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Like, obviously, like it's serious now. You know, like it's properly my job now, and it's exciting. You know, it's wicked. Like I love it, and yeah, I just can't wait to start really next year.